Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Cam Jennings, aka Cam Fats, coming at you. And I wanted to talk to you guys about this movie, Meet the Millers, or as it's known now as We're the Millers. And I want to talk about the name change as it relates to that movie. This is a video that I'm doing. It's kind of a reaction video to I saw a Moneybags 73 video talking about this change in this movie's name, and it's funny because I kind of got a backlog of movies that I want to watch, and that was one of them. It's comedy, and it was one of those ones I wanted to watch. I haven't seen We're the Millers, and but I had it on my list of things I wanted to watch for a while now. It came out a while ago, and I want to walk through it with you guys because the way this works is it was called Meet the Millers. Now it's called We're the Millers. That's the story. That's the Mandela Effect. But I want to walk you guys through my little mind map that I created on this subject because maybe is it a Mandela Effect? Is it not a Mandela Effect? Has it always been We're the Millers? Or was it once called Meet the Millers? As people who are affected by the Mandela Effect believe, I wanna walk through it with you guys and show you some of the things I found. So let's go ahead and move over to screen share, and we're gonna walk through this effect fact by fact. Okay, so here we are, guys. We're the Millers, I should say. We're the Millers was the name of this movie. It came out in 2013, but let me walk through the points. I got 5 points that I want to make here on this movie. 5 points, and I'm going to give you my final thoughts on it. So let's go ahead and get on into it. First, why am I making this video? Okay. Let me give a shout out to Moneybags 73 because I completely forgot about this movie. But one of my favorite channels on YouTube is Moneybags 73's channel, where he does a lot of Mandela Effect type videos. And the thing I think is interesting about Moneybags is he didn't start out doing Mandela Effect videos. He started out doing videos about money and stuff like that, monetary policy, politics, bullion, and more. He started out in a whole different genre, but he ended up doing Mandela Effect videos because he was so stunned by this thing that happened. So I think that's pretty interesting, and that's cool. But not long ago, he did a video right here. It was only 6 days ago about the Millers, right? Meet the Millers, or We're the Millers. So the video you're watching now is, you could call it supplemental information. You could call it supplemental information to Moneybags' video, right? Because this is really me watching his video and wanting to add a little bit to this conversation about, We're the Millers or Meet the Millers. I wanted to give you a little bit more information about this situation because the thing about Moneybags is he's a believer. He completely 100% believes the Mandela Effect is a real thing that is happening. And I'm not disagreeing with him. But what I will say is I do think that some Mandela effects appear to be reaches. They appear to be stretches. They appear to be like not genuine, right? Now, I'm not saying this one is that, but what I am saying is the Mandela effects I talk about on this channel, I want them to be like, compare and contrast. I think, and I want you to come to your own decision. Okay, so that's what started this video. This is me adding to the conversation of Moneybags' video. So, if you got time after this, go get over there and check out his video because this is really me adding to this conversation. All right, so that's the first thing I want to point out. It's a great channel too. If you're into this stuff, be sure to check out his channel. I think it's really kind of when we talk about a core of the Mandela Effect community, I think Moneybags is kind of a, maybe not the only heart of the community, but definitely I always check in on his videos. I think he does some cool stuff. But anyways, so I watched Moneybags' video and I was interested in that situation because, like I told you guys, I actually had wanted to watch that movie and I'd forgotten about it. Yet, you see a movie trailer, you think it looks really cool. You kind of make a mental note to watch that movie at some point, but then you forget about it. When I saw his video, it reminded me that I wanted to watch that movie. So I was kind of taken aback by it. I hadn't actually seen the movie, but I do remember it being called Meet the Millers. Anyways, what I did was that I went over to Facebook and I made a post about it, right? And here's the post that I made, right? It was on February 16th. Okay, movie title question for you. Meet the Millers or Were the Millers? What do you remember, right? This guy says Meet the Millers. This guy says Mandela Effect, question mark. This guy has an interesting take on it. And I think you get this a lot when you have a Mandela Effect. There's always this opposing viewpoint, right? And this guy says, I'm a fan of the Mandela Effect, but some of these can be explained just for the fact our mind is pretty bad at retention. It will actually substitute in a false memory if we forgot what the real one was. In the case, it's easy to think that you thought it was Meet the Millers because of the movie Meet the Fockers, right? Also, Meet the Millers sounds better off the tongue, so we might substitute that for the word simply because it sounds better. Now, I think it's interesting that he said that. And we're going to touch on that a little bit more in this video, but I do think it's interesting that he brought that up. And he's absolutely right. Meet the Millers sounds better because it uses alliteration in the title. Meet starts with an M, and so does Millers. So when you put those two words together, it rolls off the tongue, right? Were the Millers doesn't have that alliteration. And we're going to talk about that. This guy says Mandela Effect can be boom. So here's two people who just don't believe this is a Mandela Effect, and that's fine. I can respect that. This guy says, I remember Barney Miller. It's being funny. It's a joke. Ha, ha, ha. And then Everett down here says, Meet the Millers sounds more likely. Right. He's saying Meet the Millers sounds more likely because of that alliteration we were talking about. It rolls off the tongue better. Right. So fine. Here's that. And after I did this comment right here and got these responses, I said, you know what? I want to do a video about this. I have something to add to this conversation because, Bobby's saying this and then Rob's saying this makes me feel like, you guys have a point there, but at the same time, I got more to add to this conversation. I want to approach this a little more analytical, right? So this Facebook post and the responses kind of inspired me to dig deeper into this whole thing with Were the Millers. So let's move on to point 2, facts. All right. Now, Were the Millers or Meet the Millers, however you remember it, it was released in the movie theater August 7, 2013. All right. Now, that's going to come into play a little bit later in this video. So you remember those dates. August 7, 2013, it was released. A few months later, it was released on DVD, November 19th, 2013. These were the release dates for this movie, one in the movie theater, one on DVD. The second point that I want to point out to you, now these are facts we're talking about. These are the release dates for this movie. Second fact I want to point out to you was this movie cost $37 million to make, right? It cost $37 million to make this movie, okay? It earned over $150 million in North America and $119 million internationally for a worldwide total of $270 million. Guys, that's a 700% ROI. 700% ROI, but the ROI is really secondary. It's irrelevant for the most part. What is relevant for this video is the fact that they paid $37 million to make this movie. All right. Now, I know right now these facts don't make any sense to you and you probably don't care about what I'm saying, but you will. These will come into play. So I'm going to leave this bubble open because we're going to come back to it. If it gets too crowded, I'll close them. Actually, you know what? Let's close them to make room. Let's move into point 3. This is a noted insidious nature. All right. What I've noticed, guys, is that many of the Mandela effects that I see, or the proposed Mandela effects that I see, things that people are saying have changed, things that even I feel like have changed sometimes, I notice that there's an insidious nature to them. All right. And what do I mean by that? Like insidious, right? This is a definition: proceeding in a gradual, subtle way, but with harmful effects, right? And that's what I notice with these Mandela effects. They're a little insidious in nature. They're very subtle. They're very gradual, but generally, and I want to talk about harmful, right? I do feel like it's a little bit harmful. And the reason why I feel like it's harmful is because it takes away our knowledge. We have certain knowledge of what we feel like is the truth, right? And then when you start putting us in a position where we question that knowledge, you take our knowledge away. You replace our knowledge with doubt. Now we're not sure, right? So that's a harmful effect. Whenever you take someone's knowledge away just by introducing doubt, it's a harmful effect. So I think it's a little insidious in nature. But here's what I noticed with most Mandela effects. And I noticed the same thing with We're the Millers, Meet the Millers. Okay. What you get with most Mandela effects is you either get a dumbing down and you get a changing of the implications, right? The thing is dumbed down usually, or the implications of it have been changed. Let me explain, because I know that's a little bit hard to kind of understand what I mean. So let me give you some examples. The first one is just one we're talking about right now, the Millers, question mark, the Millers, right? Because I don't know if it's meet or were, but let's look at this, okay? It used to be Meet the Millers, all right? Now, Meet the Millers is an introduction to the family. Like that name, it's kind of, hey, Meet the Millers. It's like an introduction to the family, right? It's like there's an insinuation with that title that you're getting ready to learn about the family. Meet the Millers, blah, 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 blah. It's an insinuation you're getting ready to learn about the family, all right? There's also alliteration, like I talked about before. The title has alliteration in it. Meet the Millers. It rolls off the tongue, right? So one, there's an insinuation. You're getting ready to learn about the family. And two, there's alliteration in the title. So the title was done in a clever way, right? That was put there on purpose. Meet the Millers. It was meant to roll off the tongue. It's a literary device, right? It was done on purpose, right? Now, it was changed to Were the Millers, right? Were the Millers is a simple declaration of who they are, right? It's just, hey, we're the Millers. There's no more insinuation that you're getting ready to learn about this family, and the alliteration is gone. And what I'm saying is this is a classic example of dumbing down something, dumbing down a title, right? The title has been dumbed down. Meet the Millers has alliteration, and there's an insinuation you're getting ready to learn about this family, right? The title is clever, right? Were the Millers has been dumbed down. There's no more alliteration, and there's no more insinuation you're getting ready to learn about this family. It's just a simple declaration of who they are. That's what I mean when I say it's been dumbed down, okay? Now, look, here's some information that I showed you before. Were the Millers costed $37 million to make, right? $37 million to make Were the Millers, all right? Now, that's a really big budgeted movie to ignore something like alliteration, right? I mean, look, if you're going to spend $37 million on a movie, do you think that the title would be important to you? I can tell you that the answer is yes. People care about titles when they're spending a whole lot of money, right? $37 million is no little tiny baby bit of money. That's a good bit of money, and they're going to care about the title. It's going to go farther than just one person. You know, there's going to be several people that have something to do with the title. Look, check this out. I found this on Quora. I thought it was interesting. Who decides the title of a movie? This guy broke it down. Usually, first the writer, when he or she writes the screenplay. Usually first the writer, when he or she writes the screenplay, then the producer, if he or she feels a new title will help the screenplay getting made into a movie, right? And then finally, the distributor. the company bringing the film to market, usually based on legal or marketing considerations. Some other people, such as agents, could also be involved in the process. Usually, unless a title has obvious issues, the original title tends to stick. Ultimately, a title change is almost always about an attempt at making the project or film more marketable. Now, guys, I don't have to tell you that when a movie costs $37 million and has main big stars in it, like Jennifer Aniston, that the title is going to reflect an ability to market the movie. The title is going to reflect an attempt to market the movie. That's just the way it is. That's the bottom line. So that being said, the idea that We're the Millers would be picked over Meet the Millers, it doesn't seem logical. It seems illogical. I mean, like I said, this is a clever title. This is a dumbed down version of a clever title. So that's the Millers. Let me give you some other examples of that. Forrest Gump. All right, right. There's a Mandela effect, or proposed Mandela effect in Forrest Gump, where Forrest Gump's at a Black Panther party rally, and he says, "Sorry, I ruined your Black Panther party." Right, and you can find this on YouTube if you want. Just go look it up. He used to say, "Sorry, I ruined your Black Panther party." Right, but now he says, "Sorry, I had a fight in the middle of your Black Panther party." Okay, it's been dumbed down, right? The implications have been changed, right? "Sorry, I ruined your Black Panther party." It's more, it's just a more quotable. It's a more quotable quote. It's a more quotable phrase, right? And "Sorry, I ruined your Black Panther party." It's, that could be. It's just more. It's more quotable. It just sounds. Like again, it's one of those famous lines from the movie, and it just kind of rolls off the tongue a little bit. "Sorry, I ruined your Black Panther party." It's funny because he thought it was a party, like a birthday party. "Sorry, I ruined your Black Panther party." "Oh, you ruined my party." Like, you always hear that classic line of people talking about ruining people's birthday parties, and stuff like that. So he said, "Sorry, I ruined your Black Panther party." Right? It was kind of a play off of that whole people getting their birthday parties ruined, right? So it was clever. It made sense, right? Now it's, "Sorry, I had a fight in the middle of your Black Panther party." It's not as clever anymore. It's not as clever anymore. It's been dumbed down, right? It's been dumbed down. So again, and when something like that is dumbed down, a lot's taken away from it. It doesn't sound as good. It's not as clever anymore. So yeah, there's a second example. Snow White. All right. Look at Snow White. It used to be "Mirror, mirror on the wall." It was changed to "Magic mirror on the wall." All right. "Mirror, mirror on the wall." That's like an incantation, right? Like a spell that's getting ready to happen. So like a witch casting a spell or something, right? It's like a chant, like a song. It was clever. But "Magic mirror on the wall," that's more like just what it is. Hey, this is the magic mirror on the wall. It's been dumbed down. Right now, it's got to be spelled out what you're talking to. You're talking to a magic mirror on the wall. Again, you see it over and over again. It's been dumbed down, right? And the implication has been changed a little bit. "Mirror, mirror on the wall." It's not so obvious what's the deal with this mirror. I mean, it is a magic mirror, but there's some mystery to it. With "Magic mirror on the wall," it's just spelled out a little bit more. It's spelled out a little bit more, and it's been dumbed down, right? So, and then two more guys, Berenstein to Berenstain. This one it's just, it's always been kind of pronounced Berenstain Bears, right? And now it's spelled the way it's spelled the way it's pronounced, Berenstain Bears. Hey, we used to always say like, hey, my Berenstain Bears books or whatever. And it sounds like that, but it was always spelled with the EIN. But now it's spelled the way it sounds. So it's like, again, there it is. It's been dumbed down. Now, if you look at the history of that word, you'll find that dumbing it down to spell it that way doesn't even make sense. STAIN doesn't even go with linguistic history with that word. It doesn't make sense. I'm not going to go geeking out on you guys with that when it comes to that stuff, but you can look that up for yourselves. But it is very odd. But the bottom line and the point I'm trying to make is that Mandela effect, or that example of the Mandela effect, it was dumbed down. All right. And then the last example is this, and this kind of hints more to the changing of implications. Okay. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, right? In the theme song, he used to say, "It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood." Now he says, "It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood." Now, this is really interesting, okay? Because a beautiful day in the neighborhood, it's kind of assuming ownership for all of us. It's our neighborhood. Hey, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood today, right? That's me talking about our neighborhood, right? But if I say it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, it's just this neighborhood. It's not necessarily my neighborhood. It's not necessarily your neighborhood. It's just this neighborhood, right? The implication has changed. Instead of me saying it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, which assumes it's all of our neighborhood, now it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, which takes away that implication that we're all in this neighborhood. It's just, hey, there's a separation there. Maybe it's a beautiful day in your neighborhood, but not in my neighborhood, right? It took away that implication. So this right here, it's about changing the implication of the song in a very, very subtle way. And that's why I say a lot of these Mandela effects are insidious in nature, okay? They're insidious in nature. They change things in a very slight way that changes the implication or dumbs things down to make them less clever, right? So there's just a few examples of what I mean, you guys. There is a noted insidious nature to some of these changes. I got to tell you, and with We're the Millers and Meet the Millers, the same thing. It's been dumbed down. Point blank, it's been dumbed down. All right. Point 4, guys, keyword research data. I want to show you guys, some of you guys might know my day job, I'm a marketer. I'm a full-time marketer. That's what I do for a living. So when it comes to things like the Mandela effect, I tend to look at data because there's a story to be told in data that you don't see unless you know what to look for, okay? And I want to kind of tell you guys that story a little bit from my marketing eye, okay? So when we look at keyword data for We're the Millers, let's start in Google Trends here, okay? Now, there's a lot to be said here. When we just look at a general search in Google Trends, I type this in and I bookmark these for you guys. So here we got Meet the Millers in the blue, and then we got We're the Millers in the red. And you see this is from 2004 to present. Now, guys, Google Trends judges popularity of search. Now, what you'll notice is they're fairly similar, but We're the Millers is a little more popular. And that's to be, you think that's to be expected. You got We're the Millers at the height of popularity with 100. That 100 doesn't mean 100 people. 100 means 100% popular, okay? So this is at its height of popularity in August of 2013. Both of these was in August of 2013. You guys know why. I told you why. Because when we look back at facts, August of 2013 is when the movie was released in theaters, okay? So makes sense, right? So both of these were at their height of popularity in August of 2013 when they came out in the theater. You see both are popular, but We're the Millers is almost twice as popular as Meet the Millers, right? I guess that would kind of make sense if We're the Millers is the actual title and Meet the Millers is just some mistake that people were making. Still, I have to say, from a marketing standpoint, that's a pretty big mistake. I mean, it's still got a lot of popularity for just being a mistake. But let's move on. Let's move on a little bit deeper because it gets a little bit more telling when you go deeper. You'll notice this says no regrets, no regrets. The reason why that's there is because there's a scene in We're the Millers where there's a guy, he gets this tattoo. No regrets, right? This right here is a scene from We're the Millers. It says no regrets. And he got that tattoo on wrong. So it's kind of a famous scene in the movie. It was a funny scene in the movie, and it was famous. It's something that people reference a lot on the internet. But this kid basically got no regrets spelled wrong on his neck tattoo, and he put no regrets instead of no regrets, So it's a funny scene in the movie, and that's why people type it in, they're referencing it. So when I type in no regrets search, let's see what we get. Now I did this like this, right? This is the way we did this. We're in Google Trends here. Now I did this in a couple different ways. This is no regrets spelled correctly. Meet the Millers, no regrets. Meet the Millers, no regrets, and that was blue right there, blue. And then this is Meet the Millers, no regrets, which is spelled the weird way, right? And what you'll notice is a lot of, on both of them, right? And then here's We're the Millers, no regrets, and yellow. And We're the Millers, no regrets, in green. Now, the interesting thing about this is the yellow to me, because it's hard to see it, but the yellow is non-existent. It's non-existent. And that's really strange to me. I'm going to clean this up for you a little bit so you can see better what I'm looking at. So this is We're the Millers, no regrets, right? It's spelled correctly, because when people type this into a search engine, they might not spell regrets wrong like the guy spells it on his neck tattoo. They're probably just going to type it in right, like no regrets. So let's take away the wrong spelling for a second. And let's take away the wrong spelling on Meet the Millers too. And let's just leave in Meet the Millers and no regrets spelled correctly. All right, so now we got two. We got the Meet the Millers, no regrets, and we got We're the Millers, no regrets. And this is weird. This is really weird. All right, so this is a famous scene in right? They're just going to type in no regrets. They're going to type in the movie name and no regrets. And when we do that, what we see is in the last 5 years, we see over and over people typing in Meet the Millers, no regrets. But I don't have a single bit of popularity for We're the Millers, no regrets. Now that is very, very odd. That's very, very odd. Okay. Now, if I just make this one little change, no regrets, right? Now, I see with that, if you'll notice, when I change that letter to a misspelling, the popularity gets a little bit less for this right over here. And it gets less because most people don't type the spelling wrong into the search engine. They type the spelling for regrets correct. Okay, so what about We're the Miller, the actual title of the movie and the misspelled regrets? When I do that, what do I get? And we're going to see it. Well, wait a second. All right, let's see what it does now. Now that's weird, right? Now we get the search, right? So everybody who types in the new way, we're the Millers, no regrets. Everybody types the misspelling. Not a single person spells it the old way. Nobody spells it the old way. Nobody spells it the correct way. My friends, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense. Now, this is a prime example of data telling a story, and the story does not add up. All right, let me show you another example. Okay, cast. Because many times people type in a movie into the search engine because they want to know who's starring in the movie. Because people tend to follow certain kinds of actors. People tend to follow certain actors. Oh, I'm a fan of Jennifer Aniston. Let me go see what movie she's been in. So people will type in, if they're thinking about going to see a movie, they might type in who's in that movie. So they'll type in, Meet the Millers cast, or they'll type in We're the Millers cast, right? And that's how you get these kind of searches. But what's interesting is We're the Millers cast in August, right? In August, I can't get it to focus. So basically right here in August, it's not landing up there for me for some reason, but let's see if I can just get it to go up there. Anyways, you guys get it. In August, there it is. In August, we see when the movie was released, We're the Millers cast was at 100, the height of its popularity, right? Meet the Millers was at 61. However, look at the months after that. Why is it that Meet the Millers cast is like beating We're the Millers cast for people searching for things? Why would We're the Millers cast be almost twice as popular as Meet the Millers cast for search the month the movie was released? Then ever since then, up until today, for the rest of all these years, guys, we're talking about from 2004 to present, right? This is a representation of 15 years of data. This is 15 years of data, you guys, from 2004 until 2019. So, I mean, it's almost 15 years of data. Meet the Millers cast has been searched for almost twice as much as We're the Millers cast. Now, that's very, very strange, and it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, you guys. This data does not add up, okay? It doesn't make sense that a mistake would be more popular in search than the real name of the movie. But what's funny about this is when you actually type in just Meet the Millers and just We're the Millers, what you see is We're the Millers is more popular than Meet the Millers. But when you start digging a little bit deeper, when you start going to Meet the Millers cast, We're the Millers cast, famous scenes from the movie, when you start looking at stuff like that, you start finding Meet the Millers is more popular than We're the Millers. So it's interesting, okay? Let's look at another one. Let's look at DVD release, all right? If I type in, when people like a movie that they saw at the movie theater, or a movie came out of the movie theater that they didn't go see, but they want to see the movie, or some people just like to watch movies on DVDs. They don't watch movies at the movie theater. Well, they're going to do a search, right? They're going to say, We're the Millers DVD release, right? When does this come out on DVD, right? I might have. Looks like I messed that one up. Let me do that one right here. So we got Meet the Millers. DVD release. Okay. Oh, you know what? I messed up. Oh, I did it again. Hold on a second, guys. Let me. It's interesting. Don't you guys think that's a little bit strange? Meet the Millers DVD release. All this popularity right here in November of 2013. But there was zero. Hold on a second, guys. Let me fix this. This is not right. DVD release. All right. Look at that. Not even half as many people typed that in November of 2013. Guys, that is when it was released on DVD. If we look at the facts, we see that We're the Millers was released on DVD November 19, 2013. That's when it came out on DVD. So it makes sense that around that time, people were asking about the DVD release. But around that time, in November of 2013, at the height of popularity for DVD release, we see, well, for some reason, it's not letting me, hold on a second. Let me get it to stop on this. There. November of 2013. Meet the Millers DVD release, 100. That was the height of popularity. We're the Millers DVD release, 35. Not even, guys, it's not even, it's 35%. 35% of popularity. Why would the fake name, the name that people are mistaken, why would it be so much more popular on the month that the DVD was released? Why would so many more people be typing in Meet the Millers DVD release? And only 35% are typing in We're the Millers DVD release. That doesn't make any sense, guys. This is a prime example of data telling us a story. All right? This is data telling us a story. You have to peel back a couple of layers. Now keep in mind, when we just typed in Meet the Millers and We're the Millers appeared to be more popular. But when we start typing in some of these specifics, it's starting to tell a different story. And the story is these numbers aren't adding up. Okay? They're not adding up. Trailer. I'm just going to show you guys a few examples because I want you to see it's not just one thing. It's the numbers are telling a story over and over again. Okay? Now this is a search that people would do when they're looking forward to watching a movie. Now I told you guys the release date for Meet the Millers. It was August of 2013. August of 2013. So that means in July, people were probably looking for a trailer. Meet the Millers trailer. We're the Millers trailer. They were looking to watch a trailer probably in July of 2013, right? And look, here we go. In July and June and July. Come on. There's July. I can get this thing to, boom. So it was August at its height. So it makes sense, right? We're the Millers just came out in August. People were trying to figure out if they wanted to go watch the movie. So in August of 2013, it was at its height. August 2013. But why was so many more people typing in Meet the Millers trailer versus We're the Millers trailer? I mean, it's more than twice as popular. Why would so many people be mistaken about this movie title? I mean, guys, that's so much more. That's twice as much. It's the difference between 500 million people and a billion people. So it's a lot. It's a huge difference. Why would so many people get it wrong? Why are more people mistaken than not mistaken? More mistaken on Meet the Millers cast, more mistaken on Meet the Millers DVD release, more mistaken on Meet the Millers trailer. I mean, it goes on and on. When you dig a couple layers down, let's look at Netflix, okay? Because what happens is in 2013, people had Netflix, right? and they wanted to know if Meet the Millers was going to be coming on Netflix. And they wanted to know, is Meet the Millers going to be on Netflix? Right? That's what they want to know. When did they want to know it? Here, look, November of 2013, November of 2013, December of 2013. Why were they typing in Meet the Millers Netflix or Were the Millers Netflix in December of 2013? I'll tell you why. Because Were the Millers came out on DVD in November of 2013. Okay? So the very next month, of course, they're already paying for Netflix. Why would they go rent it on DVD? Of course, they want to see if it came out on Netflix, right? So they're typing it in. Is this movie on Netflix? So in December of 2013, we see that Meet the Millers, again, is twice as popular as Were the Millers. Meet the Millers Netflix. People were typing that exact phrase into Google search twice as much in December of 2013 as they were Were the Millers Netflix. It's strange. Now look here. When did this, look at this, boom. All of a sudden, now this is taking off, right? In February. Very odd. Very, very odd. This is very, very strange. Strange data, all right? And then full movie search. Full movie search, why would there be a full movie search? Because people want to see if they can just watch the movie for free, right? They're going to type in Were the Millers, or they're going to type in Meet the Millers full movie, because they want to see if they can just watch it for free, right? They're trying to watch a pirated copy of the movie. That's why they're typing it in. Now look, again, you see Meet the Millers. If we look, December 2013, October of 2013. So it's November, right? It's November 2013. This was the same month that it was released on DVD. The same month that it was released on DVD, people were searching for, Meet the Millers full movie. They wanted to see if they could get a pirated copy of the DVD release. And you notice that it beats it again. It beats it again. Not quite as much though, right? Not quite as much. But it does beat it. It's strange. This data is really, really weird. Why would a mistaken movie title beat the real movie title? That doesn't make sense. Anyways, let's get away from Google Trends. Let's go to TubeBuddy. I want you guys to see this. This is very interesting. Okay, so we go over here to YouTube. One of the tools that I use on YouTube is called TubeBuddy, and this allows me to pick out really good keywords to target. Right? It tells me what's more competitive and what's less competitive for keywords on YouTube. Right? Now check this out. Okay. Now if I type in Meet the Millers, right? Now you're going to find. Now this is weighted and unweighted results. Weighted, unweighted. Now the reason that's weighted is because it's based off of my channel, right? It's looking at my channel and how many views my channel gets and various things like that based off of my channel and how well I could compete with that keyword, right? How well I could compete. Now what this is telling me is I could not compete very well if I titled my video Meet the Millers, right? You can see. Okay, I wouldn't do very well. Okay, if I unweight it, it's still poor. Now, unweighted means it's not based off of my channel. It's just based off of a general average for all channels, based off of what's happening. But if I unweight it and I don't base it off of my channel, what you're seeing here is search volume, excellent. What that means is there's a ton of people searching for Meet the Millers. Okay. That's what that means. Now, here's what's interesting. Meet the Millers is not the real name for this movie. The real name is Were the Millers, right? But look, it's fair. I could rank better. My video would rank better if I titled it "Were the Millers." Why would why would why would I be able to compete better for the real movie title versus the fake movie title? Supposedly it's always been called "Were the Millers." If the official name of the movie is "Were the Millers" and it's always been that way, then why can I compete better for "Were the Millers" than for "Meet the Millers"? That doesn't make any sense. Look at search volume. Good. Search volume, excellent. Meet the Millers, search volume, excellent. This is telling you it's a very clear picture, and it's telling you that more people are searching for Meet the Millers than for Were the Millers. You understand? It's a very clear picture. Why would so many more people be searching for Meet the Millers than Were the Millers? All right? It doesn't make any sense. Why would the search volume be, and it's representative of what we saw on, it's congruent, you guys. It's congruent with what we saw on Google Trends. About half as many people are looking for Were the Millers. As you see, it's right there in the yellow, search volume. Good. It's in the yellow. If I change, we see the search volume. Let that load up for a second. Sometimes this thing kind of glitches out on you. There it is. Excellent, right? Search volume, excellent. That's the same story. Guys, it's telling us the same story that Google Trends was telling us. It's telling us that twice as many people are searching for Meet the Millers as they are for Were the Millers. It's telling the same story, you guys. So this is a story that does not make sense when we say the name of the movie is Were the Millers. You're mistaken when you think it's Meet the Millers. You're mistaken. Like, that doesn't go with these kind of results. This data is not telling that story. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out. Let's move on. That's the TubeBuddy. Now I want to go over to Google Keyword Planner. Okay, now you might or might not be familiar with Google Keyword Planner, but Google Keyword Planner is basically a tool that advertisers use to find good keywords to target when they want to put ads in front of YouTube videos, or they want to put ads, like when we want to put ads in front of YouTube videos, or we want to put ads on Google. Like when you type in search results and you see those ads to the right side, or you see the ads right up at the top, that's people buying those ads, and we buy those ads. And the way we decide how we want to do those ads is we target keywords, right? So if I go to find new keyword and I type in Meet the Millers, right? And I'm sorry if this is boring to you guys. I don't mean for it to be boring. I want to show you from an analytical standpoint that maybe this idea of the Mandela effect is not just a bunch of uneducated fools that don't know what they're talking about. Okay, I'm not sitting here claiming that I know what the Mandela effect is, but I am saying to you that I don't believe this Mandela effect is some kind of just little trend that died out a year ago, and it's just something that doesn't matter. All right, I think, and I'm not saying all of them are real. I'm not, because I've seen some that I think are quite a bit of a stretch, and maybe I'll talk about those in a future video. But what I'm saying is, I think that there is something happening here. I really think something is happening here that cannot be explained if you look a couple layers down, right? On the surface, it's like, it just appears like people are idiots. But when you start looking at some of the analytics and the data, you're going to find that there are things that don't add up. And we look at Meet the Millers, okay, and we see 10K to 100K low, right? And when I look at We're the Millers, I should explain to you what these results are about. Okay, when I look at We're the Millers, okay, what I'm going to see is I'm going to see We're the Millers 100K to 1 million monthly searches, right? 100K. This is telling me that 100,000 people to 1 million people search for We're the Millions. I'm sorry, 100,000 to 1 million people search for We're the Millers every single month on Google, right? All right, and it's telling me that my competition would be low if I wanted to put ads in front of people who searched for We're the Millers. My competition would be low is what it's telling me. So basically, and it's telling me basically my my low range for here is about 60, right? 60 cents. 60 cents per click. And then my high range is $5.79 a click. So I'm not going to go into a big explanation about what Google AdWords are and how to run ads or anything like that. But basically, this is telling me I can buy ads and I'll pay for clicks between this range of numbers, right? And that's for We're the Millers. Now, don't you think it's interesting that this is the exact opposite of what all the other data is telling me, right? It's like it's saying the ads have been ran for these keywords, ads have been ran, and this is what people have paid generally. If I look down a little bit, I see my keywords, right? Meet the Millers, 10K to 100K, low, 1K to 10K, right? The Millers, We're the Millers, full movie, right? 114 to 513. You know what's interesting about this? The really interesting thing, if I really wanted to sell something and I wanted to target this, now you guys know after looking at the data that I could target Meet the Millers, and I would be title that's not real, you know, and I think that's very strange. There's Meet the Millers right there. And this is telling too. Meet the Millers, look at that. Meet the Millers movie. People have actually bought advertising for this. Meet the Millers movie, 100 to 1,000 people monthly searches. $1.37 to $5.96 was the range for this. Meet the Millers full movie again. But look at We're the Millers without the little space. We're the Millers without the little space, 1,000 to 10,000. It's strange, man. I mean, these results are just. Now, I know you guys, a lot of you guys probably don't care about advertising, and maybe this keyword stuff is a little too boring. But the point I'm trying to make, guys, this idea is just, I mean, we shouldn't have people searching for Meet the Millers cast I mean, this shouldn't be getting 1,000 to 10,000 people a month searching for Meet the Millers cast. I mean, it's odd. I mean, I shouldn't have 10,000 people. This is going to be roughly 8,000 people a month searching for Meet the Millers cast. That's really weird. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's really strange. Meet the Millers. 10,000 to 100,000 people a month are searching for Meet the Millers. We're the Millers is 100,000 to 1 million. That's completely opposite of what I just saw on two other tools. And I think that's really strange. Anyways, you know, we're done playing around with these analytics, but I wanted to point that out to you guys, okay? The last thing I wanted to point out, this is point 5. And I know this video is kind of long, and you know, I just want to show you guys the facts, and I want to show you some of the numbers that I see and some of the analytical data. And and I'm sorry if this video is too long. It's really for the people who, this video is not as much for the people who are just looking for the newest Mandela effect. This video is for the people who are searching for, is this real? And why is this happening? That's what these videos are for. Is this real? Can I trust this? Is this something that's really happening? That's who this video is for. If you're out there and you're wondering if that Mandela effect crap is even real and you're not really sure what you think, I want to give you guys some analytical data just from a marketing standpoint to show you the kind of things that I'm seeing behind the scenes, okay? So let's look at the Wayback anomaly, okay? What is an anomaly? It's something that deviates from what is standard, normal, or expected, okay? So I went over to the Wayback Machine, and I thought, well, I wonder if Meet the Millers, the thing is, when I looked at Meet the Millers, I was like, okay, Meet the Millers, meetthemillers.com. What does that give me? And this is some kind of weird, it's almost like a weird resume page. This is like a weird resume page for somebody named Christopher Miller. He lives e-commerce, right? He's the lead developer for Back to Learn Media LC. He's got the skills and experience, Microsoft certifications. This is like a resume page for someone to refer an employer to in case they want to get a job. It's called Meet the Millers. Now, if I type in we'rethemillers.com, what happens is I am redirected to warnerbrothers.com/we're-millers, right? We're the Millers right there. And up here it says we're-millers, but I'm redirected to this. And that's the movie, right? That's the movie page. Redirected from we'rethemillers.com to this. So this is interesting. So I thought, okay, well, that's what Meet the Millers is now, and this is We're Millers. What if I change this to Meet Millers? And about like I expected, I get this. It just, it's nothing, right? There's nothing there. So no dice there. So what I decided I'd do is I would go to the Wayback Machine, right? And I'd go to if you go to archive.org, they have something called the Wayback Machine. And it will look way back into the history of Google and show you snapshots of what those websites looked like a long time ago. So when I look at Meet the Millers from a long time ago, I see the first archived version of Meet the Millers was captured back in 2005, right? So if I go back 2005, this is kind of what it looked like. What's new? This is in 2005. 2002, we have now lived in our home for 2 years, starting to feel like ours. It's like some kind of like a blog, and this is still Christopher Miller, right? Still Christopher Miller. It's like a Christopher Miller blog. Forward to 2010. Now, this is before that movie came out. Okay. This is 2010. It's Meet the Millers it's blank. There's nothing there anymore. We go to 2011. He's changed it a little bit. Now he's currently the IT director for this. We're an internet retail company specializing in skincare. It's like it's turning into his it's his resume page. It's basically his resume. Christopher Miller. It's interesting because you got to ask yourself, why would someone put their resume that's like a business resume, like for you trying to get a job? Why would someone put that on a website called Meet the Millers? That's very strange. It doesn't make sense. I mean, the first one was kind of like a weird blog about his family, and I guess that kind of made sense. but it just doesn't make sense. If we look to June, this was just a couple months before the movie came out. We can see that Christopher updated his thing. He updated it, and now it looks like this. This was just a couple months before the movie came out. Portfolio for Christopher Miller, and it's the same kind of thing. It's a resume page, right? And then if we fast forward again, this was January 5th, 2014. It's the same thing. And it's like, it's the same thing. And now it's changed. In 2014, December 2014, it changed. He just updated the look of it, but it's still the same thing. It's a resume page. Now this was after that movie came out. Now, why would you have a resume page? Why would you have a resume page that was named after a famous movie that just came out, several months ago? That doesn't make any sense. This is a very weird name for a resume page. I mean, it should be ChristopherMiller.com or something similar to that. Just Meet the Millers. I mean, in December 2014, we all saw how popular Meet the Millers was at this time period. We all know how popular it was. We just looked at the data. It's very strange. So, I mean, you could argue that the movie was called Were the Millers, so it wasn't congruent with that, so it didn't matter. But the data proves you wrong. The data proves that twice as many people were searching for Meet the Millers at that time as they were the Millers. And it just kind of seems strange. Regardless of the movie title, period, just throw the movie title away for a second. It seems weird to call your resume page Meet the Millers. That seems like a really weird thing to call your resume page, because you're going to be directing possible employers to this page. So it's a very weird thing to name your page. Anyways, when I go to werethemillers.com, this is what I get. Wayback Machine. Were the Millers, August 20th, 2018. Now, why? Why is Were the Millers? It's strange. It's like, why? I didn't understand why it did that. Why did Were the Millers? The last that was updated was August 20th, 2018. And then for some reason, it was redirected to Warner Brothers, Were Millers. I don't know. I thought that was kind of strange, but that's what I found. So, anyways, that's that, and I thought that was a little bit weird. So that's the Wayback anomaly, and I wanted to give you some final thoughts on all this, because I've been talking about this for a while now. I know this video is going long, but let me give you some of my final thoughts. First, two questions, right? Number one, why would something that is obviously wrong have so much keyword traction? Meet the Millers is wrong. Why does it have so much keyword traction? Why is there so much traffic for it? I mean, literally, I could get the cheapest traffic known to man just by targeting that keyword. There's so much keyword traffic. It's proven in Google Trends. It's proven in the Keyword Planner. It's proven in TubeBuddy. It's proven. So it's getting a lot of traffic. And also, what's interesting in TubeBuddy is I would have a harder time ranking a video for Meet the Millers than I would for Were the Millers. But why is it that you don't find a lot of videos called Meet the Millers? All the videos are called Were the Millers. But people are, it's just weird, man. It's weird. It doesn't make sense. So why would something that is obviously wrong have so much keyword traction? The numbers don't lie. All right. The numbers and the analytics tell a story that's different to the one that's being placed in front of us. So that's weird. Question number two. Why would Christopher Miller have a resume page called Meet the Millers? That seems incongruent with a page that is meant to be about him specifically for potential jobs. It's weird. I'm not saying it can't be explained. I'm not saying it can't be explained. Maybe the guy was just too cheap, and he had this family blog called Meet the Millers, and he decided not to do a family blog anymore, so he deleted the whole family blog and he replaced it with a resume page. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me, but I guess it is technically possible. Doesn't really make sense, but I guess it's possible. Also, another thing that's interesting is the family blog only had one index. There was never any updates to it. So you made a family blog page and you never updated it? You only had one entry? That seems kind of weird to me. Anyways, so those are two questions for you. Like many of the proposed Mandela effects, I look at this one leads to more questions without answers. I just gave you two of them right there. Questions without answers. Because is it some kind of conspiracy? I mean, was this a fake page? Did someone create this whole Christopher Miller thing to throw us off of the path of, Meet the Millers? I don't think so. That sounds outlandish to me. I mean, I seriously doubt that. But I will say that it doesn't make sense. It does not make a lot of sense. And I'll tell you guys something. When I find that things don't make sense in my job, something's off. I'm not getting the whole story. Something is off. When I find that people are telling me stories and something is off and it's not making sense, usually it means somebody's lying to me. That's usually what it means. Somebody's lying. If you're telling me a story and it's not adding up, somebody's lying. All right. Now, in this case, I'm not saying somebody's lying, but I am saying this story is not adding up. This whole story, not just this little thing here, but this whole story of We're the Millers, it's not adding up. So there's definitely something missing. Something we're not getting the whole picture, okay? So like many of the proposed Mandela effects, I look at this one leads to more questions without answers, okay? On a surface level, there is an overwhelming amount of evidence that it has always been We're the Millers, all right? That's on a surface level. If I just do Google searches for We're the Millers and Meet the Millers, I'm going to find a lot of evidence that points to the fact that it was always We're the Millers. But like I showed you guys, when you look a little bit deeper, the anomalies start coming out pretty regularly. Meet the Millers cast, Meet the Millers DVD release. Yeah, it's just pretty regularly they start coming out. 10,000 people a month searching for Meet the Millers cast on Google Keyword Planner. I mean, that's weird. If it was never a real movie, that's really weird because we're talking about a movie, guys, that came out in 2013. So why is it that in 2019, 10,000 people a month are still searching for Meet the Millers cast? That's really weird. It's not even the name of the movie. All the keyword research could be chalked up to an extremely popular misconception about the title of this movie. So technically, all this keyword research that we looked at, it could all be chalked up to a very popular misconception about the title of this movie, right? I feel like that's unlikely because we checked and double checked and cross checked all this data, all right? Second, Christopher Miller could have called his resume page Meet the Millers as a way of having a sense of humor about it, right? Or he could have started a family blog, like I said, and then just only did one blog entry for his family and then decided to change it to a resume page. I mean, those are possible. They seem unlikely to me. They don't really make a lot of sense to me, okay? So I do believe this is a Mandela effect, you guys. Though much of the actual evidence to prove it is gone, okay? A lot of the actual evidence to prove it is gone. Let me go ahead and move over to stop my screen share real quick. So I do believe it's a Mandela effect, you guys. I do. A lot of the actual evidence is gone. You have to look below the surface level at some of this other data before you start seeing anomalies and you start seeing things that don't really make sense. It's weird. Now, I couldn't tell you at all like what the Mandela effect is or why this is happening or what these changes mean. But what I can tell you and what I firmly believe is that something is happening, because there are things in that data that I just showed you that don't make sense. They do not make sense. I could talk to you more, about it. We could go into more and more data, and I could like bury you in a mountain of data that doesn't make sense. But at the end of the day, you're going to be left throwing your hands up like, well, what does it mean? What does it mean? I don't know what it means. What I can tell you is it's highly unlikely that in 2019, 10,000 people a month are still searching for Meet the Millers cast when that wasn't even a real movie. That was never the name of a movie. I can tell you that in 2019, it's highly unlikely that it would be harder for me to rank a video for Meet the Millers than it would be to rank a video for We're the Millers when We're the Millers was the actual name of the movie. It's highly unlikely that that would be the truth, but it is the truth. How does it make sense? It doesn't make sense. It absolutely does not make sense. So take it for however you want to take it. But if I were you, I would look a little closer into it because it's very, very peculiar. Anyways, guys, that's it for this video. I hope it's been helpful to you. Hope you get something out of it. Just leave me a thumbs up, leave me a comment. I'd love to hear what you guys think, because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what I think. I put this video out here not because I wanted to hear what I thought. I put this video out here because I want to know what you guys think. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know if you have something in particular you'd like me to research and give you my take on. If you do, I'll do a take on it. Let me know. I'll look it up and give you my take on it. Thanks a lot for hanging out with me, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace, everybody.